Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Wolfel, and I'm your host today. I am with MeetMeHere.com, the Four Winds Fountainhead Club, also known as the 4WF Club. It's the social club for people who live, work, study, or play near the Four Winds or Fountainhead area in Toronto, which is in Ward 7, which is also known as Humber River Black Creek. This is the Humber River Black Creek All Candidates online Q&A meeting. And the idea is to find out why we should vote for different people. There's 5 different candidates, 3 of them running for city councillor. So that would be Amanda Coombs, Anthony Peruzza, who's the incumbent, and then there is also Christopher Mamalidi. And he's the former trustee for the area, now running for city councillor. And then running for school trustee is Nicole Dason and Matias de Dovitis. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a former TV talk show host. I did about 70 shows over 3 years, and it was called Careers. It was all about successful people and interesting occupations. My educational background is industrial engineering, graduated from University of Toronto, and an MBA, Master's in Business Administration from York University. So 2 big Toronto-based universities. I have a PEng and an MBA, and I'm the founder of MeetMeHere.com, which has a goal to transform neighborhoods and groups into communities, locally and worldwide. Why am I doing this? Okay, well, Meet Me Here is really about giving people reasons and ability to talk. The election on Monday, October the 24th, is a great reason for people to talk to the candidates and also to each other. It's important to vote, but also to vote correctly for the candidate that best represents your values and interests and those of also for your neighborhood. This is what the agenda was supposed to be, but because of technical issues, people have not been able to log into this meeting, and because I was a former talk show host, I guess I can kind of pivot and just create a monologue here. And I've also let the candidates know that if they want to send me a video, then it'll be inserted inside this video and edited in so that it can become part of the whole presentation. But this is what it was meant to be, that each of the 5 candidates would be given 5 minutes to say why people should vote for them and give a bit of background. And then there would be some 10 minutes back and forth, possible mini debate where they ask each other questions. And then there was going to be some time for the people to ask questions as well. Or we are the North, right here, Ward 7, right at the very top left-hand corner of the city of Toronto. And the boundaries, basically, as you can see over here, is going to be fun, me moving around. You're probably going to get dizzy. So we've got Steeles Avenue on the north. We've got the 401 on the south. On the west, we have the Humber River, kind of winds down around here. And then on the east, we have Keele Street. And it takes a little jagged edges around here. So, and what about this ward? It has a population of over 108,000. And lately, the growth has been a little bit slow compared to the rest of Toronto. It has over 36,000 households and a lot of immigrants. A high percentage, 58% compared to the average of 47% in Toronto. About almost 10% being Latin American. We've got about 9% Southeast Asian. We've got almost 9% Jamaican, 8% Vietnamese, and just over 12% Italian. So a good population, but unfortunately also high unemployment rate in this area. This is one of the issues that really should be fixed. And the average, and as a result, probably because of that, the average household income is maybe around 65,000 compared to 103,000 for the rest of Toronto. Some of the issues that have been mentioned in the newspapers and by the candidates that I've been hearing, crime probably being at the top of the list. Last year, there were 409 shootings in Toronto, up 130%. 163 people were wounded by guns. That's up 114%. And 46 people were killed. That's up 70%. This is significant. And yet people are asking to defund the police. And the police also have been unable to get intelligence that they used to get with street interviews. So they're being asked to provide a lot of protection, but with lower budgets potentially, and also inability to get the kind of intelligence that they used to get with what was known as carding, which they were accused of being discriminatory, and that was why that was stopped. And the fact that the police service have now acknowledged that they're systematically racist, that doesn't help matters. So, they have to get this discrimination act together, and then hopefully they can have better intelligence and budget in the future to do their job. Anyway, the economy, jobs, we need better jobs, just as mentioned, too many people unemployed, especially in this area. Housing, more affordable and supportive housing is needed. Green space, we can't just keep building and losing all our trees. There has to be a balance. Transit, there's been some great progress made in this, and we have to keep building our transit infrastructure. But the trade-off and that we have to make and have to be patient about is that during all this construction, there's going to be increased traffic, roadblocks. It's going to take you longer to get to work. There's going to be lack of parking. That's also making it hard for some businesses to stay afloat because the customers have stopped coming because they can't reach them. And when people want to make changes to big transit plans, that also leads to big delays and increased costs. So, what about the budget? The city is expected to have a deficit of about $800 million next year, while at the same time the province of Ontario has a $2.5 billion surplus, and Canada, the country, federal government, a $10 billion surplus. So we need help from the province and the feds to bring more money into the city, and in particular into Ward 7. On the positive side, we need better events and communication to bring us together, to socialize, to support each other, fun stuff. Up to now, I'm hearing that the advanced voter turnout is down about 30%. So it's going to be important that you get out to vote on Monday and contribute your vote. Voting is important. If you don't use it, you lose it. We don't want to end up being having a dictator like Hitler or Putin, or somebody who is going to tell us what to do and without us, and we lose our voice. So we have to exercise that voice. I've been trying to create this event. It's been incredibly difficult sometimes to invite some of the candidates. There doesn't appear to be a required entry into the database to give contact information. So when you look at toronto.ca, city government elections candidate list, you'll see for these three candidates in our ward number 7, there's no email address, phone number, or link to their website. Now, fortunately, not far from where I live, Anthony Prochazka has a big building, so it's easy to see where he is and to go and knock on the door and talk to him or his campaign office. But that was not so easy for Christopher or Amanda. Or because the candidates are not here, I'm going to talk for them a little bit. Amanda Coombs. She is a Toronto community crisis worker, and for over 8 years, she's been the voice of many Jane and Finch residents as a TCHC tenant representative. And she's assisted with issues such as renovations, pest control, relocation, access to services, navigating evictions, and other legal proceedings. Why vote for me? What does she say? Well, basically, she says that we need a fresh voice and we need change. And we need somebody who understands the struggles of the residents better. Now, Anthony Peruzza. Many of you should know him because he is the incumbent, the current councillor. So Anthony has served on the City of Toronto Council since 2006. The Humber River Black Creek riding is his lifelong home and where he went to school and where he's raising his family. The community he cares about most. He was re-elected as a city councillor for the newly combined Mega Ward number 7 in 2018, and he's been a member of Toronto's Etobicoke and York Community Council, the Infrastructure and Environmental Committee, and the Exhibition Place Board of Governors, and an executive member of the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. He brings valuable experience and knowledge to the councillor's office. He has worked hard to enhance playgrounds and rebuild our roads and sewers. He helped to extend the subway line to connect people across the city and get them to where they need to go. He advocates for more local jobs and opportunities for youth. He fights for more seniors to help receive property tax and utility bill rebates. And he's worked to help repair and upgrade rental housing for years. And he has organized park cleanups, tree plantings, and toy drives for families. Through his dedication, the York Woods Library and theater are being renovated. And a new community center is well on its way for Western and Shepherd. And he's advanced the Jane Finch Community Hub and Center for the Arts. Why does he say people should vote for him? Well, he says he's a strong voice for affordability, accessibility, equity, and the environment. He wants to ensure that HRBC is sincerely represented at City Hall for many years to come. He believes that we have accomplished a lot together and that there is still much more to be done to improve our community. Christopher Mamalidi. So his father was also a politician. He was born and raised in the riding HRBC, Ward 7. He has a passion for our community, and he's deeply interested and motivated to bring positive change through his experienced leadership. Having grown up in a political family helped him to get valuable personal experience and a deep respect for public service. For the last 4 years, he was the Toronto District School Board trustee for Ward 7. His dedication to public service and community was noticed by his colleagues, and they elected him to be the first trustee from Ward 7 to sit as vice chair of the board. And prior to being elected, he spent 12 years operating and managing a successful local small business. While working, he also completed his business management degree and volunteered as the PAC chair for Seneca Business. As a husband and a proud new father and brother to 4 siblings, he is a family-driven person, a family man with a passion to help others. Why does he say we should vote for him? He believes that his commitment to helping others is the foundation of why we should be voting for him. And I'm sure he's got many more things that he would have wanted to say had he been able to make it to this meeting. Now, let's look at the candidates for school trustee in the Toronto District School Board. Nicole Dason. Well, she says that she is a mom of 2 children, dedicated to making the education system better in Toronto, better for our community, especially when it comes to growing our community schools and keeping funding in the classrooms. She graduated from York University and works currently in the banking sector. She has been honored as a recipient of the Women in Capital Markets Emerging Leaders Award, and she's passionate about women's rights and giving back to our community. She has lived and studied in Uruguay and volunteered in Peru, working with women who were survivors of domestic violence. She's a skilled problem solver, managing significant budgets, working with others, and is a strong communicator. She also speaks French fluently and conversational Spanish. Why does she say we should vote for her? 3 key priorities. Let me move up. Community. Ensuring our community is prioritized so our children can benefit and succeed along with children all over Toronto. Consensus. Collaborating with parents, community members, and fellow trustees to make strong choices for students. And finally, commitment. Making sure that every dollar spent enhances our schools and children's learning experience. Last but not least, Matias is a community advocate who has been very active in the HRBC area. An immigrant from Uruguay, he knows what it means to have to work multiple frontline part-time jobs to get an education. He finished his own post-secondary studies with over $60,000 in debt, which took years to pay off. And as Chief of Staff for City Councillor Anthony Peruzza, and Executive Director for the Duke Heights Business Improvement Area, Matias brought tens of millions of dollars in investment into the community. He also worked to rebuild green spaces, including parks, roads, and sewers, exercise pods, new playgrounds, to rebuild libraries and advance public art projects. As an activist and organizer, he worked to ensure that there are more sustainable opportunities for youth in our area. He started bursaries for various groups and schools in the tens of thousands of dollars, and he has personally supervised placements for over 100 youth and created programs for hundreds of young people. He also has led events where kids received free bikes, laptops, backpacks, and worked with organizations to start lunch and breakfast programs. What does Matias say about why we should vote for him? He wants to work with local parents to advocate for students and improve our schools, to partner with active community members to bring in the necessary resources to create a more equitable public school system for our kids, to work with our leaders to fight for a more just, fair education system in our community and city. And he wants to help to build a system that listens to the different voices that we have, and we have a lot of them, and as you mentioned before, immigrants especially, and who is flexible and responsive to bring us higher quality education while being a springboard for helping the disenfranchised. Before I go to the next slide, I just want to say that I hope that getting some more background information about each of our candidates and why they say we should vote for them gives you a better perspective of how they might fit within your own views and your interests, and how that might sync with your values, as well as the values and interests of the people who may be around you in your neighborhood. So keep that in mind, and please come out and vote. So just a little bit more about Meet Me Here and why we are doing this. Well, MeetMeHere.com is the meeting place. It's for business and social, from local to global. We want to build a better world by transforming neighborhoods and groups into communities with better communication and caring, locally and globally. I believe for the most part we don't have communities right now. That word is being misused every day. What we have is neighborhoods, people near each other, and we have groups, which is people with a common interest or affiliation, and they could be all over the world. But if people are not communicating, they're not going to be caring, and if they don't care, they're not going to communicate. Those two components, I think, are crucial to transform us into a community. Bad communication causes most of the problems, probably since the beginning of mankind, and even more today as we get more crowded into tight spaces of big buildings, whether we live there or work there. To destroy communication barriers by giving people reasons and ability to talk. Reasons such as friends, business, jobs, dating, learning, and discussions. An ability in the form of profiles of people or business members, text, audio, and video chat, and scheduled events that can be online or in person or both, a hybrid. We invite you to join our ongoing discussions that can be done before, during, and after great events like this. To do that, you log into meetmehere.com. If you haven't signed up, sign up first, then log into meetmehere.com and join our chat rooms, such as HRBC Talk. Before the election, ask the candidates or your campaign office if you get a chance. There's still a few days left. If elected, what changes would you want to make in this riding? And also for the city, what would you be supporting? What would you be suggesting? What would you be bringing to the table? What are the top 3 things that you've done in the past that best prepare you for this position? What are your views on the major issues, maybe the ones that I mentioned earlier or other ones that have not been mentioned but are important to them and important to you? So finally, go and visit bit.ly/HRBC Talk. And that's where you're going to find a link to this video and also more candidate background information, the ones that we have and also what we may still get. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you at more events in the future that help to bring people together both online and in person. Take care.